Hey guys, I recently got Black Diamond Ascended just the other day, so I think it's an interesting change in some of the PvP. She does a lot more critical hits, and so does Masuta, and that changes a few things up. I wanted to show some of these battles. Let's look at the battle log here. So we've got a good number of them we can go through with quite a few trophies that were gained from this. Let's take a look at the first one. Alright, I'm going to be skipping over the loading period just to speed things along. One thing you'll notice is this is not my fast team. There are some different reasons. So they have an entirely fast team. It's a good defending team, but it has a weakness to really hardy teams that you can bring on. You can see I have one fast character that I brought along, and that's Willow, and her whole purpose here is to boost the health for Tsumi and Cruel King Bramble, just to make sure that they survive. She's got a 15% buff, and we really need that because we need to try to have everyone survive through, the onslaught of these first 4 attacks. And I think you'll see is that even though she was taken out early, she performed that job nicely. Now we've got Tsumi down to a little bit of health, and actually it looks like they may have survived anyway, but that health buff is really nice to have a hold of, especially if they would have had to take damage directly. We got lucky and one of the single hits was directly on Willow. But having that buffed Soul Shred does so much damage. You see 2,900 there, almost 3,000. It would have been 2 hits if she lived through the first one. So a really powerful group that you can use if there's, particularly if there's an all-fast team. It also just brings up the importance of being able to change up that group. I realize that as you're going through, you're only going to be able to have about 8 characters. You can keep it full level, so you have to pick those really carefully so that you can put together good teams that you can use to go against other groups in PvP. Alright, the next 4 of these are primarily my almost entirely fast team. So the team I use most of the time, now that they've changed up the PvP mechanics, is this 3 fast players and then IGOROK. IGOROK is just so powerful. If he lives through to get his first turn, he can freeze basically the entire other party. So here we go with Blade Storm, and again with her Ascension, she got a bump to her crit. You can see 2 critical hits out of that. One took out their lower level Yokozuna in just a single attack. Then we get through with this Death Blossom, and they also have a much lower level Bovus. So we've got a good bonus over top of him, which means it's going to be harder for him to hit that, hit his special effect. But it looked like with Tsumi, we hadn't taken down a quarter of his health, so I wasn't expecting this to give him the 1.5 bonus in attack. But somehow I think that works with the health shield, that even though that doesn't look like it's down 25%, if there was the amount we actually took out was at least 25%. But anyway, we were able to freeze him, live through that first one. Because we took Bovus out, he didn't push back our energy down 1, and we were still able to use Polar Pounding. So that worked out really well, and those high critical hits are appreciated. I hate to count on those, but they do come on so often that it works really well. So for our next group, we're fighting a group that has 3 fire element and then Tsumi. So the goal here, picking this team, was to try to take out Tsumi with the 3 fast characters while doing a lot of damage to the fire characters. And then, hopefully, IGOROK can live through everything and we'll have enough to finish everyone off. You saw that high damage, high crits on their team. They were almost done after the very first hit. And then, we're able to take them out here without even getting to IGOROK. So 3 players, and we were able to take out the whole team. Just incredible amounts of power from Black Diamond. Alright, for this team, we're actually all the same level, and I like to avoid that if I can to get an advantage on level. But here, what I was looking for, what made me pick this team to go against, is that they have 2 slow characters. So here, again, we got 3 crits out of that, which means we're going to be able to finish off 2 of those characters, and really they're the 2 damaging, high damage characters that present some threat to our team. Now we can use Willow to take out Stonefist here, You've got the element bonus there, and they're down to Chief NubNub. And as I've mentioned before, he's a big threat if they've got a whole team that he's going to heal back up, but on his own, he's very easy to take out. Especially if you've got a few characters, and here we have all 4 characters missing none of their health. So just incredible amounts of power, again, having Black Diamond ascended where her crit was improved. It improves her crit, but it also improves Masuta's crit, which again just puts on a lot of power. Alright, for our last battle, we've got kind of a mixed element group. I was pretty sure I could take out Kobal the Pestilent with just our light characters. Any crit would help out on either one of them. We could probably take him out. Didn't quite get it there, but we did get some other crits to take out other characters. The only real threat character here was going to be Bovus in terms of the first term, and so that's who I was going to use Willow on. It turned out we didn't have to. But if you look at Squinch, he can be very powerful on team, but he takes a little bit of time. That first run through doesn't do very much damage, and this is a highly rushed team that I'm using here. So if they're using kind of a slower, beefier team, we're going to put up as much damage as we can up front. Then with him being a slower to do a lot of damage, we're all burning, but we've suffered almost no damage. There's just not a lot of threat. So we get them all out of the way without too much trouble. So overall, I'd say this is just a really powerful offensive team, and the biggest drawback is that you're relying on those critical hits from Black Diamond. So if you get a time when you go in and you're expecting them and you have 0 of 4 critical hits, or you just critical hit the tank that's got a ton of health and it doesn't really do enough to finish them off, then you could really be in a lot of trouble. That's the downside. The upside is that doesn't actually happen very often, so it gives you a head up on lots and lots of teams. Also, not necessarily great against the fast team, that is, against a really, really beefy team. If they're, all tanks and things, hard to penetrate and get enough damage on them, then it can be rough for that. If you've got slow characters you're going against anyway, you can again put in a normal speed team. But overall, for the majority of the teams that I'm facing, this fast team has worked out very well. I had someone ask about just saying they prefer to see kind of live rating, not live in real time, but doing videos of rating in real time. And that would be great. It would be nice if I could do that more often. It is hard because I usually do 1 or 2 raids at a time, and so recording all of them can be kind of a pain. Setup and tear down is a little bit of a pain that way. When I look through like this, I figured I'd try to tack one on the end. Looking at some of these groups, so I hate to see more than one character with a lot of threat for our team. So Yokozuna can make it hard to finish people off, and he's a normal speed character. And Tatsumi, you've got to finish off if you've got area effect that you're using with some of your team, because you're going to give him a huge buff to his attack, and you don't want to do that and then get hit with Soul Shred. So I would avoid a team like this. Let's look at the other team here. Here again, they've got Bovus El Doro and Tatsumi. Those are the ones that I'm looking at with a lot of concern. If they had Yokozuna as well, again, that's another layer of, I know I can't finish off 3. I can only really guarantee finishing off 1. A lot of times I'll finish off 2 in that first round before they get a chance, but I can't guarantee that. And if I've got a couple kind of game changer characters on their team, I'm going to want to avoid that team. I do really like seeing Chief NubNub generally on team, because with IGOROK there's a fair chance that I can freeze him before his slow turn comes around, and then basically putting him out of commission until the end of the second turn, which is long enough to take out most of the rest of the team. So let's look back at this one. It's only 8 trophies. We've been getting a lot more than that normally. But here I see they have 3 normal speed characters, which really looks like it should be a lot easier for us. They're also 3 levels below, and then 4 for Lady Nimriel. So that looks great as well. And this is a good time when I could bring in my all-fast team, or I mean my normal speed team, because I'm only going to take a hit from Lady Nimriel. And that would probably work out really well. At the same time, if I bring in my fast team, I can probably take her out before she even gets a chance to go. So I'm probably going to try that, and we'll get the benefit of having Masuta's Pwn Undead 2, which will do ×3 damage on the Life Reaper. And I think we're going to go ahead with that. So it was the last team that I used, so everyone's all set up here. I do like to have, once in a while I see this out of order when people are attacking. Just a quick note on that. So Willow, I have her after the AoE attack players, and it makes a lot more sense to me that way. You don't know who's going to have a critical attack and take someone out for you without even trying. Sometimes I see single player fast attack characters up front. So they'll have like Shadowblade or Willow attack first and then a multi-person attacker afterwards. You wouldn't want to do that because if there's a critical hit, they could already have taken out a character for you and you're just wasting your attack. So try to do it in that kind of an order. Area effect first and then single attack after that. As I mentioned in the intro, we're looking for every advantage. We don't want to leave any advantages out. Alright, so we get to go first here. And I'm going to have Black Diamond go first. And hope for some crits here. Alright, so no crits, so that puts us in a bad position. But we'll go ahead with Death Blossom and see what we can have. Yep, so we're able to finish off one character. And that's great for us. And it looks like we're going to be able to finish off Lady Nimriel. So let's go ahead with that. I just don't want, with the, normally I wouldn't use the skill, but I don't want to take a chance that we don't finish off Lady Nimriel. That's by far more important to me, to finish her off. Especially since there's a chance that we won't freeze Chief NubNub here. He could resist it. He didn't resist, so that's great. But if he had, it could have been a losing battle. If he healed everyone up and then weakened us, and then we get a taunt the next round, that could have been putting us in bad shape. So I'm going to make sure we finish off Chief NubNub first, so there's no chance of healing, and now this battle is in the bag. No problems here. And we started off with no crits, so there was a little bit more concern starting out, but everything worked out well. We lose one character, so we're not going to 3-star it, but it doesn't matter to us too much. Alright, let's look at doing one more raid while we're here. Okay, looking over these again, we've got a level 56 in the far right. That's 2 levels above where we're at right now. I really don't like doing that because it ups the chance that we're going to miss and that our skills aren't going to land. Meaning that the effects of the skills won't land as well. The freeze, it's much harder to get freeze to land. Here we've got Tsumi, Yokozuna, and Bovus, and on top of that, they've got Willow. Willow on her own maybe isn't all that concerning, but that health buff to 2 already difficult to kill characters is something I don't want to deal with. So that's a nice defensive team. Again, a good recommended team there. Really a solid group to go against. If you've only got those characters, that's a good team to put together. And here, an equally troubling team. I don't like to see IGOROK in there on their first normal turn. They've got a chance to take us all out. So I'm going to go ahead and refresh this and see what we have now. It's disheartening to see a level 56 group as the weakest, the far left, and a fairly strong group there. So they're lagging behind in levels, which must be one thing that's pushing them down further that way. And so this group is a little bit better. There's still a bit of a pain in that we've got Tsumi and Willow on the same team, but we'll go ahead and try it because they do have one normal speed character. So let's go for that. Alright, we've got to try to live through one of Willow's hits first. She usually targets IGOROK. This time she'll target Willow. But usually Willow can live through that and it's not too close. As long as you've got an equal star level or better, then you're usually not having too much trouble. So go ahead with Blade Storm, cross our fingers for some crits, and see how this goes. Okay, no crits again. That's not too common. I haven't been having that happen all that often. We usually get lucky. Alright, we got a crit there, and another crit. This is about the worst situation that we see in terms of it would be really, really nice to have someone to just barely finish these guys off. It's a real pain to have them with just a sliver of health left. We have to take out Tsumi. There's really no choice here. We've got to take him out. So we'll go with that, and luckily, IGOROK is at full health. So Lady Nimriel, even if she targets him, and she often actually targets Willow, which is another nice benefit to have her there, and she dodged it, so that part's working out well. We didn't get lucky with the crits, but we're getting lucky in everything else. There's no daze on IGOROK, so basically this seems like it should be in the bag at this point. Willow could dodge it, Lady Nimriel probably not, so she's gone, almost dead on Stonefist, and Willow's taken out. So effectively this one's over now. And you can see, even if we had a little bit of concern early on, this team still really came through even without those crits and did really well. Alright, well that's it. I hope this is helpful, and I'll continue to do these kind of talk-throughs on PvP. Let me know if there are any specific questions. As I get closer and go to the level cap, I'll be able to experiment with a lot more diverse teams, and so I'm looking forward to that as well. That can be really tailored to the defending team that I'm going against. Again, hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll talk to everyone soon. Thanks again.